everyone. Welcome to another live. Alanna was trying to invite me into her live. We want to talk about body positivity and raw food today, but for some reason I wasn't able to join. So I'm hosting it and we'll just wait for Alanna to join our live, and she's here. Yay, excellent. We can get started and chat about this important topic. And please go grab the Ultimate Raw Vegan Bundle if you have not. Go get it if you haven't. It's only around once a year, and every year it's different. So if you want this collection, you got to go get it now. So here we go. Hey, Alanna, how's it going?
Hey, good. I'm so sorry about that. I think I need to send a message to Instagram and try to figure out what this, something's going on.
Yeah, it was interesting. Yeah, because I kept, accepting and it wasn't working, but it's all good. It
Working.
happens. Technology can only go so far, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for taking the time to have this discussion with me. I know that you're all about body positivity, so I thought you would be a really good person to have this discussion with. The way that you live and breathe raw foods, it's very positive and it's very supportive, and I know you're always using the word choice, like choosing raw foods because you want to be eating them. And I just like the fact that it's a very positive environment. So I felt like the body positivity subject would be great for you.
Thank you.
So
Yeah.
can you
Thank
just
you for inviting me.
yeah, so could you talk a little bit about how you view raw foods and body positivity? Like how do you think people could integrate more raw foods in their lives in order to be more body positive?
Yeah, it's such an interesting topic because I feel like in this world, and not just the raw food community, but the world in general, we're so focused on looking a certain way, right? And the thing is, we're human beings, and marketing and all of that stuff has made us think that we need to be a specific way and our body needs to look a certain way, and we can never age, right? That's another thing too that flows into body positivity is age positivity, right? Instead of feeling, oh, I'm getting older or whatever, and like we're all aging. It doesn't matter what diet you're on. We all move through life, and some of us support our body through it, and some of us try and some of us don't. So judging each other based on how we look is really one of the lower judgments that we can make on a person, because we're all going to look different. We all have different genetics and we all have different life experiences and how we grew up and our current habits, our past habits. Like, so much stuff happens to determine how we age. But when it comes to body shape and size, I think people need to, obviously there is an appropriate weight for our bodies, and everyone's going to look different at their appropriate weight, but it's about health when it is about weight loss, right? We want to, some people need to lose weight to improve their health, but when we approach it from the mindset I need to look a certain way, then it starts to cause, it can cause disordered eating patterns and body negativity, instead of feeling like you're doing something beautiful and amazing for your body, and to practice that body self-love regardless of your weight, regardless of your age, regardless of how you look, because ultimately we are all going to age and we're all going to change and things are going to be different. Like, I am not going to look the same that I do in 20 years, right? I want to support my body through it, but I also want to accept my body through it. And I think that's something that people need to accept more. And I've worked through that a lot through my decade being raw, was really working on realizing that the image is not everything, right? It's everything else in your life. It's your health. It's how capable you are to hike up a mountain, how you feel when you wake up in the morning, and how you feel after you eat, and how you show up for the people you love, and following your passion like life is so much more than just how we look, right? So when we start to add more raw food, obviously most of us start to feel way better, and we start to see ourselves in a little bit different light. And we choose raw not because we want to look a certain way, but we choose raw because we believe that's, you know, the healthiest way to support our body through any stage of our life. So yeah, it's a big topic, and it's hard for us to shift, especially for, you know, the millennial and older, where we were like super indoctrinated with, like, you know, 80s and 90s beliefs, you know, like supreme calorie cutting and skip meals and, you know, all this stuff, over exercise and everything to look a specific way. Um, oh, look at the little.
Sorry,
Hello.
unexpected. He's supposed to be sleeping, but that's okay. I love you, buddy. Say hi to Alyssa.
Hello.
Okay, good
Hi.
night. Say bonne nuit. It's okay.
Oh,
It's okay.
so
I love you,
cute.
buddy. Bonne
Precious
nuit.
little one. Oh, but see,
Thank you.
it's those little ones that we want to teach how to be positive with their bodies as well, right? Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you for sharing that insight. So do you feel like your body positivity has changed over the years since you've become raw vegan? We've got his brother that wants to say hi. He's jealous. Say
Hi.
bye. Oh,
Hello. Thank you. We're cute.
can't let one
Yeah,
say hi without the other.
right.
Yeah. Oh, oh man. Sorry about this.
Okay.
This
That's
is what
okay.
happens.
No
Hi.
big
Mwah. I love you, buddy. Good night. Oh, mwah. I love you. That wasn't
Adorable.
supposed to happen, but
That's okay. It's okay. That's life, right? And you know, it's just, it's being alive. It's being human and having families and littles. But yeah, my body positivity has definitely changed over the years. Like in the beginning, it was I lost 70 pounds in the first 14 months of my raw journey, and you know, after struggling with my weight loss for so long, I was like, whoa, you know, I was a totally different person. Looking in the mirror, I was also a totally different person inside as well, because I was now doing things for my health, and the outward appearance was reflecting what I was doing inside. So that changed, but I didn't go raw for the weight loss. And that's what a lot of people might not realize. I've talked about this often in my videos, that I never did raw to lose weight.
Mhm.
The reason I did raw originally was because obviously I knew I resonated with it. It made so much sense, but I was never able to stick to it because I was eating too high fat. I wasn't eating enough fruit or greens and stuff. So it was really under eating, and I was stuck in diet culture, you know, trying to lose weight and everything. But I went raw because I woke up one night in the middle of the night and I had these heart flutters. And
Mm.
I would wake up probably like quite often, like at least 4 to 5 nights a week, sometimes more, with these like heart flutters. And it would feel like I was having a heart attack. And I was eating junk food and coffee, and, you know, I try to eat healthy here and there, like, yeah, just like the average person. And I woke up that night and I was like, things have to change. Things have to change.
Mm.
Otherwise, I'm going to actually have a heart attack one day. And it was really scary to think, you know, every night I would have these, I would take like another hour to go back to sleep, because all I'd be thinking about would be like, what if that was actually a heart attack? How would it feel? Would I die? What's it like to die? And then I wouldn't be able to get back to sleep. So I dreaded sleep time because I knew that this was coming. So that was really ultimately what made me decide to make changes in my diet, was health wise. Because
Mhm.
like for decades I tried, like I would yo-yo up and down, and you know, I did all kinds of diets. I worked in the health food store. I did cleanses and detoxes and over exercise, like I did it all, right?
Mhm.
And it wasn't until I went raw and I totally released the weight thing. I was like, I don't even care about the weight thing. All I want to do is eat properly and focus on my overall health, making sure that I get enough into me to support my body. So when I went raw, it was very fascinating because, you know, things started to change. My hormones started to regulate. My acne went away. I did lose weight. My joint pain went away. My mind was more clear. My candida overgrowth that I dealt with for 15 years finally went away. And I was like, this is
Amazing.
amazing. But, you know, like the weight loss was the outward appearance of what everyone saw, and the acne too.
Mhm.
But it's like the internal stuff that people don't see, like how
Absolutely.
much you're struggling. You know, they see the weight loss and they're like, oh yeah, you lost weight, that's great. But another thing too with the body positivity is like, we don't always know that weight loss is healthy, because a lot of people maybe are doing severe calorie restriction, over exercising, they're skipping meals, or they're following some kind of like extreme diet or what have you, and they lose weight. They're praised for that. And when
Mm,
they're praised for unhealthy weight loss, it fuels their, you know, their need for continuing that kind of thing, or solidifying and reinforcing the fact that that's a
mm,
good diet just because you lost weight. So just because you lose weight doesn't mean you did it healthfully, right?
absolutely.
And that's something that we need to consider as a society, is that not all weight loss is healthy, and not all weight gain is unhealthy,
Hmm.
right? Because some people do need to gain a little bit of weight to be at a healthy weight. And sometimes if, you know, if they're naturally already quite lean or what have you, and they gain a little bit of weight, and then someone says like, oh, you look like you've gained weight, right? It's like, we shouldn't be saying that kind of stuff to people and making them feel like, oh, maybe I should lose weight, when in reality maybe they needed to gain the weight and they are at a healthier spot in their life. So it's so much more than just what we see in the mirror and what people see on social media. It goes way beyond that. It goes deeper. It goes in our, like, how our health, like my eye health even improved. Like, I know people are like, oh, why do you still wear glasses? Because you're raw, which is ridiculous to me. But my eye health has improved. In my early 20s, my eye doctor told me I was at severe risk for retinal detachment, and that freaked
Oh,
me out.
wow.
Freaked me out. So, you know, I was scared, and, you know, every time I'd go, they're like, you know, you just be aware that this could happen, you know, sooner than later. And I was like, oh, like really scared, because it's scary to lose your vision. So, or have eye issues. Like, I don't even wear contacts because I don't like things in my eye. I don't
Right.
like the idea of it. But when I went for my eye exam, it was like maybe like a year and a half after I had been raw. I had to get new glasses, and she tests my eyes, and she's like, "What have you been doing?" And I was like, "Why?" And she's like, "Because you don't have any signs of like what you used to have, like, you know, the retinal detachment." I was like, "Really?" And she was like, "Keep doing whatever you're doing." I'm like, well, you know, I'm like eating like way more leafy. I didn't tell her I was raw vegan because, you know, like I don't always like to mention that, but I, you
Right.
know, I was like, I'm eating lots more greens and tons of fruit, and, you know, I'm like trying really hard to be really healthy. And she's like, well, whatever you're doing is working really well, because your eyesight has dramatically, well, not eyesight, your eye health has dramatically improved, and my eyesight didn't get worse. I'm not saying that, you know, eyesight is diet related, but vision can improve when you know, release all the junk food and the high fat stuff and everything. But I don't think diet changes the shape of your eye, but it can definitely change like the blood flow and, you know, how healthy your eyes are. So even just my eyes changed. So yeah, it goes way beyond just body image. And I've definitely changed a lot in many ways since going raw. Mm.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing all of that. I'm curious, like when I went raw as well, I'm not totally raw today, but when I went 100% raw for 7 months, I went for similar reasons because I was having heart palpitations and I was having ear ringing, and periodontal disease, as well as like back pain. Like it was just like a whole slew of things. And of course, I did want to release the weight as well. But when in retrospect, it was like the thing on the bottom of the list in terms of importance. Like
Exactly.
all of the other things were so much more important to me. And I think that the thing that like had the impact on the body positivity the most is like just the brain fog. Like I felt like I was able to think so much more clearly, and that was so empowering. And I just felt like, wow, like I'm feeling really good about myself, not only because I'm helping, you know, alleviate all of these symptoms, but for the first time in my life, I just had this like clarity, and I was just like, wow, this is really strong. You know, this is very empowering.
Yeah, it's definitely the brain fog thing is truly something that I noticed immediately when I went raw. I was like, whoa. Because I dealt with candida for 15 years, and that's one of the main symptoms of candida overgrowth is brain fog is one of them. And you just like, you can't think straight and you're tired and you can't see stuff in general. Like it's just, it's hard to make choices. It's hard to make decisions. It's hard to just be because you've got like this fog on you and it just feels like right. And yeah, when you go raw, everything gets more clear and you can think clearer, you can make better decisions, but it starts with that one decision, which it can be really difficult for people when they're in that state, that challenged state of like, you know, oh man, I need to make this decision, I need to like make the food, and you're tired and you know all this stuff. It's challenging at the beginning, but it's so worth it if people do make the change, even if you're not all raw, even if you're just like incorporating even more raw, because that's what Nate and I try to share on our social media. We're not like you have to be 100% raw, right?
Yeah,
Like we are here for people if they want to be 100% raw and they want to,
right.
you know, explore that. But we want to encourage the rest of the population to start adding more raw food into their diet. Like you don't need to be vegan, you don't need to be raw to enjoy things like the bundle, which you can get in the link in either of our bios, which ends tomorrow, by the way. You don't need to be a certain, you don't have to follow a certain diet in order to enjoy more raw food. We all know, you know, healthier foods are good to incorporate, and it's about making small steps, working your way towards it, because you can't fluently speak Spanish in 2 days. Like if you don't know Spanish, you can't start speaking Spanish. Like you can't play in an orchestra with an instrument that you just picked up. So we understand that. We understand that, you know, when you pick up a new hobby, you get a new job, you learn a new language, you learn a new instrument, that kind of thing. It takes time. It takes practice. It takes consistency. It takes day in, day out working on it. Why do we expect diet to be some kind of miraculous thing that we can do overnight, right? When it's the same as everything else. We have to practice it. We have to work on it. We have to do the things every day that get us towards our goals. So, but when you do start doing that, things get easier, your mindset changes, you see yourself differently, and like body positivity isn't just about shape, it's about body in general. Like we love our bodies. Our bodies do so much for us. They're the reason we exist on this planet, on this earth. Like they're the reason why we're here. So we need to respect it, and so many people don't. And one thing that made a lot of sense was Nate would say, like, well, we treat our vehicles better than we treat our own bodies. Like, you know, some people will spend a lot of money on a vehicle and they'll,
Hmm.
you know, they wash it meticulously. They put the best oil and the best gas and, you know, like all the stuff with their vehicles. But then they go and eat McDonald's or junk food, or,
Hmm.
you know, they don't meals. They don't really care about filling up their body. But, you know, we got our bodies for free, basically. Like we just got them and we're here with them. And a lot of people don't value things that they get for free. So when you pay for a vehicle, you're like, whoa, you know, like that costs a lot of time and money to get that.
Hmm.
Whereas we didn't spend time or money to get our bodies. They just became, they are us. So thinking of our bodies as a priceless gift and realizing that there is no value on it, and we have to put so much value into it, like value or like, you know, stuff into our bodies, and love our bodies for however they are, with the cellulite, with the weight, with the whatever. Like love ourselves enough to put healthy things in, and our body shape does change. So it doesn't, the goal isn't to change the body, the goal is to change what we put into it and what we do with it, and the body will
To
change
support it.
based on what we do. Yeah.
Mm, absolutely. Those are all really good points.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it makes me a little bit sad. I love the body positivity movement, but I feel sad for the people that unfortunately have a lot of limiting beliefs, maybe because of what they've been taught their entire lifetimes, and just like are just don't have the information, correct information. Like they're scared about protein, they're scared about like maybe they just like, I mean, I personally, I think the first time I had a raw zucchini was when I was 40 years old. Like, I mean, like I'd never, for some weird reason, I was brought up thinking that zucchini needed to be cooked. And so like when I discovered raw food, I was just like, oh my God, this is like amazing. You can actually eat a zucchini. You don't have to cook it. So I feel like there are other people out there that don't have the information. They may like be scared of like not meeting their nutritional needs. And then like the body positivity movement, like I feel like in a sense like empowers people to be eating foods that are not healthy for them and just say like screw it, like I am who I am, so I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. So I think that like that's another thing, another like complex, like another facet to this complex like disco ball. Like there's so many sides to it, and I just like hope if anyone out there is feeling like, who's listening to this discussion feels like, oh, I've tried everything, it just doesn't work, and like you're scared, like reach out to us because there is a way out. And like you can still be body positive, if you're feeling bad about your body or you're feeling, bad inside, you don't have energy, like there's a way out.
There is.
So,
I'm glad you
yeah.
brought that up because I do feel like the anti-diet culture movement is a little, it's just another form of extreme, right? In certain senses, right? Like there's a fine line. Let's just say that. There's a fine line between loving your body and still putting things that don't align with your goals or your health into it, and using body positivity as a justification to continue doing those things. So on one hand, yes, we should love our body no matter the shape, no matter the size, no matter the age, no matter the gender, no matter what. We should love our body. But if we do love our body, we're going to put positive things into our body, right? So realizing that there is this, flip flop of people who are using it as a justification to continue doing these things that are potentially making them sicker. And they, like it's hard to tell yourself that you're beautiful or what have you when you're still doing these things that make you feel tired and brain foggy and joint pain and all these other symptoms that we get from these items. And it's like if we truly, 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 truly love our bodies, then we will put positive things into our bodies. So it's not just about body positivity, it's about all the other stuff positivity too.
Right. Wholeness, like being a whole positive person from all different aspects. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Mm.
And I love your ebook so much. Just like going through all of the different sections that go into detail about like, how you can take the plane and like eat raw, like easier. Cause I mean, I feel like that's like another excuse that people come up with is like, it takes too much effort, too much time. And I just like how you and Nate broke it down. So you have like kind of step by step ideas of how to like, eat more raw when you're traveling, when you're moving, when you don't have much time. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like, yeah, just the action of doing these things is a way of showing yourself self-love and being body positive and like being positive about your life by taking care of yourself. So I think it all kind of ties together.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm glad you love that book. That book was so much fun to write because we spend a lot of time in nature. And that's another thing too with the body positivity. It's like, again, not just about shape, but like how your body functions. Like I am so grateful that this body can take me to the top of a mountain, regardless of what shape it is, right? Regardless of what age I am. I can hike to the top of a mountain. And that's something that I am grateful for and blessed to have. And I don't want to take that for granted, because there's people out there who can't, which, you know, is heartbreaking. I know how I have some really close friends who aren't able to do that. Like, their body isn't in a state where they can. Maybe they're wheelchair bound, or, you know, they have certain health issues that don't allow them to do that. So even though, you know, your body might not be perfect according to society, it's still, you know, you're still able to do certain things, and you're still able to do, you know, the things that you love, and to be with the people that you love, and to experience life, right, in whatever shape your body is in. And so that's like the basis of everything, is loving ourselves. And when we do go traveling, I have a whole chapter in the Tales book about why it's so hard to go raw, or eat raw, or choose raw, or even just healthy things when you're traveling, because we're taught that when it's vacation time, it's a justification time, right? You know, like,
Mm.
we only go on a vacation once in a while, or we have, like, you know, 3 weekends in the summer where we go camping with our family, and it's like, oh well, you know, everything goes out the window because we're camping, so we can eat whatever we want. It's like, for some reason, magically takes away any of the consequences that happen when we eat certain foods. And I remember, like, every time that I would go on a road trip, I would have this pull and this craving to, like, get bags of chips and candies and have snacks and stuff like that. So and then when I went raw, I noticed, like, I went with my family to do, like, this family reunion trip that we used to do every year, and I recognized, like, it's just the awareness, I recognized those old patterns pop
Mm.
up. It was like, oh, you know, just immediately. Like, it wasn't like I was gonna go get bags of chips, but because it was so ingrained in me to
The
go,
thoughts
yeah, just the
started
thoughts. And I
coming
was
back.
aware, it was so fascinating how I was so indoctrinated to just want to get those things to take with me on my travels. Or, like, when you're in the airport, it's like, yay, free for all, we can eat wherever we want. And I'm like, but I always would feel crappy on the airplane after eating that stuff. So why would I want to put myself through that, for airport food, when I can take my own wrap or take my own salads on an airplane? And I've done that, you know, every time we fly, we take our own raw food with us. And, you know, certain places don't let it in, like Mexico, but you know what, it is what it is, right? Try to eat for, and all, you know, do all the things. But all those tips are in the ebook, from
Yeah.
our own experiences. Obviously, there's tons of other tips out there, and other people are going to find, you know, their own easy ways to take raw traveling. But we wanted to lay it out as clear as we possibly could, like the tools we use, how we plan for our trips, how we prepare the food in advance, the types of coolers we use that we've used in the past and that we use now, like the different phases that you can do. Like, we started with a regular cooler with ice bags, and we graduated to an electric cooler that plugs into the cigarette lighter. And,
The solar
we realized,
generator. That's
yeah, and when we
amazing.
realized,
Just that information in of itself is worth like the $50, like having that video and everything.
exactly. I know. Yeah, Nate. The reason we did that was because we bought our electric cooler that plugs into the cigarette lighter, and it had a battery on it. But unfortunately, when we would camp for multiple days where we weren't driving around, like we would stay at camp, we weren't able to charge our cooler because it would charge only when we were driving. So we, you know, we're like, okay, well, now we need solar panels to charge the cooler. And so we tried that, but the solar panels weren't strong enough. And then we had to keep moving them throughout the day. And it was just like, ah. So Nate built this solar powered generator, with new, like, stronger panels that we put on the roof of our truck, so that that could run our cooler. But you don't need that kind of stuff, right? Like, you can start with a regular cooler with ice, just like we did, and we managed just fine. And, you know, as you move through it, as you do more traveling, you're like, you know, I could really use this. I want to put this tool in my travel bin for kitchen stuff. Or, you know, and it's going to shift and evolve through the years, and you might find that you use one item more often than another, and then other times you might be like, oh, I need to put that back in the bin because I use it more now. So it's a flow, but it's there for people to be inspired to make better choices while they're traveling, hiking, camping, adventuring, all that kind of stuff, because we want the energy to be able to do this stuff, right? I don't want to sit at camp and just be like, or sick at camp. So many times in my past, I've been sick, like, diarrhea, or, like gut issues,
Right.
or just tired, or getting a cold or a flu, because I'd have those all the time. And then I just wouldn't enjoy my vacation
Mm-hmm.
because of the food I was eating. But, I didn't connect the two at the time.
Right.
I would just be like, well, like I want potato chips, but, they make me sick. And then
Right. Well,
I
we're
wouldn't have
taught
that.
at a young age to be to reward ourselves
Yeah.
with these like treats that are like, and I see that with holidays too. Like you mentioned going on vacation. I feel like holidays, it's the same thing. It's like, oh, it's Christmas time, so let's just totally stuff our faces. And I have fond memories of my family falling asleep after Thanksgiving dinner. Like, and so for some reason, like, I still have those thoughts like, oh yeah, like everyone gets together and like drinks alcohol and like, you know, eats a lot of like, warm, heavy food. So yeah, I totally like I can relate to what you're saying. It can be hard. Like you have those thoughts that come back, memories, like some of them fun memories.
Mhm. Yeah, I know. It was really fascinating. There was another time too, um, because I used to drink a lot of Red Bulls and, like, the energy drinks, the fizzy soda things. Even though I knew better, I was like, I would drink 1 to 2 a day, before I was raw. But every time I would go and fill up gas, I would go and grab some energy drinks out of the cooler at the same gas station. So when I went raw, I chose to go to a different gas station simply because I didn't want the temptation of being in that specific one, because there was a couple around our house, so I could easily choose a different one. And then one day, it was like maybe a year or two after going raw, I stopped at that gas station to fill up, and I noticed my body just naturally went over to the cooler. And then I looked at the cooler, I was like,
Oh
huh,
wow.
isn't it amazing? And it wasn't my body wanting it. It was the habit that it was just like, it just came back, and I walked over there and I was like, that's fascinating. Like, our habits are so strong. Our habits are so strong, even when you don't do them for a long period of time. Sometimes there's things that can, like, trigger that habit to be like, like, go over there. And I was like, I can't believe I used to get this stuff all the time. And it was a fascinating moment to experience. Like, an old pathway in my brain was like triggered when I went into that store. I was like, damn, this is like crazy how strong habits can be and how challenging they are to overcome. Like, we've got
Mhm.
a big road ahead of us when we're trying to change our habits.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, that's why making small change like over time, like you said, retraining yourself to create new habits and feel good in those habits and feel empowered in those habits, like is help, that's basically what changes, your personality over time. So
Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, thank you so much for joining me for this live.
yeah,
And thank you so much for being part of the bundle. Your book is super cool. For those who are curious, Alanna has a coloring book in the bundle that's very kid and family friendly. Can you share just really quickly about your coloring book?
of course. Yeah, I decided to make the coloring book, actually printed it off. So this is like, it's been doodled all over by my kids, which is a good thing. Yeah, I decided to create a coloring book because I felt like I wanted to be showing my kids, like, having them do more activities related with fruits and vegetables. And I've noticed in the past, like a lot of people trying to release weight who do want to release weight for health reasons, like, whatever reasons they have, healthy weight release, and they feel like they have to be eating totally different foods than the rest of their family.
Right.
So I wanted to kind of bridge the gap and just like have a book where, people on, weight loss or health journey in general realize, oh, actually, I can be eating the same foods as the rest of my family. And maybe these foods are actually better for the rest of my family. So it was kind of a way of, yeah, making those two worlds collide and in a fun, colorful way. So just like there are some games, there's some coloring pages, and yeah. just so everyone can like have a good time.
That's awesome. I know. Yeah, this bundle is loaded with so many cool things. So thank you so much for joining the bundle every year that you do, because we love to
Mm,
have you. You always have
so
something amazing to contribute. So everyone go follow Alanna and get the bundle from the link in her bio. You can also get it from the link in mine, but get it now because it ends tomorrow. This is your very last chance, last weekend to get it. Because we won't be back until 2025. And when we do come back next year, it'll be completely different content. So if you like what's in this bundle, if you haven't even seen what's in this bundle, go to the link in either of our bios and go check it out, because there's some amazing stuff in there. So thank you again, Alanna. You are awesome.
thank you, Lisa. Love you so much. Hope you have an awesome day. And thanks everyone for listening in. And thank you for taking over the hosting.
Oh, no worries. My pleasure. My pleasure. All right. We
Awesome.
are going to be live in about 45 minutes. I got to go get ready to do a food demo. So hope you
Awesome.
have a wonderful evening.
Thank
Mwah.
you. Bye.